Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the murder trial of Fernando Acosta Jr. faces a delay as new evidence prompts a reset. The unsolved case of Kenneth Wayne Hilscher's disappearance marks 30 years as authorities continue to seek answers. And Phi Air Medical marks a milestone in medical transport excellence in Victoria as it celebrates 20 years.
Another beautiful day for the Crossroads, and we know what? It's going to stay like this for a while, so how long could it be? We'll talk about that and your Saturday forecast coming up in a moment.
And tonight we have multiple district softball and baseball games here in the Crossroads. We'll highlight some of them coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry has the night off. The Fernando Acosta Jr. murder trial is pushed back once again. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley was in Matagorda County and has the latest.
Jury selection was underway and started Monday, but today the court decided to reset the date for a new trial. The potential jurors arrived at 8:30 a.m. and the judge arrived at around 9 a.m. Defense attorneys for Fernando Acosta Jr. are Micah and Sierra Hatley. They released a statement saying that the cases continue due to late disclosed evidence by the state. That evidence was disclosed after the trial had started. It involved misconduct by current and former law enforcement officers and witnesses that were not disclosed until the first day of trial. The only remedy for the court is to move the case to a new date to give both sides an opportunity to investigate the conduct and other material related to that new evidence. The new date for the trial is set Monday, September 8th, 2025, with the status conference set for July 17th. Reporting from Matagorda County, Ray Mosley, KAVU-TV, 25 News Now.
Here's a look at the timeline in this case. On April 18, 2021, Amanda Johnson was found murdered in a burned-out SUV on a rural road in Matagorda County. The suspect in her case, Fernando Acosta Jr., was indicted on June 21, 2021. Attorneys for Acosta filed a motion for a bond reduction on June 28, 2021. Several trial dates were reset, including in November 2023, February 2024, and May 2024. Then, almost 4 years to the day, the trial started Monday with jury selection. Now the trial is reset again for a status conference on July 17th. And this brings us to our viewer poll today. What is your confidence in the prosecutors handling the Amanda Johnson murder case? Are you very confident, somewhat confident, not confident? And you see the needle going towards somewhat unconfident in the prosecutors handling the Amanda Johnson murder case. We thank you for voting and we want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part and we'll have the latest results at 6. A local woman secures a major victory in a fight against a temporary restraining order set by a collegiate organization. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting joins us now with an update. Trenton?
Thank you, Don. Victoria College alum Toni Merritt can now release her book, revealing elements of wrongdoing with the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. A Victoria County judge ruled today that PTK's injunction against her book fell under prior restraint, which is unconstitutional. The organization attempted to prevent her from releasing the tell-all book titled Saving PTK, The Whistleblower's Fight for Truth and Change. They attempted to use the court to get a copy of Merrick's book to review for what they called confidential information to remove from the book. Merrick called it a big victory for the First Amendment, and she plans to battle further attempts from the organization to stop the release of this information.
PTK's attempt to silence me has failed. Many of the people who volunteered information for the book have now been served cease and desist orders and threatened. So I'm going to continue fighting for them and making sure that everyone knows the truth about this organization.
The court released a response email detailing PTK CEO Lynn Tincher Ladner's response to some related legal matters, saying she was, quote, trying not to have a stroke because of a former employee's plan to testify and question her ethics. There were also questions surrounding the amount of scholarship funding actually available, as well as the reported exclusivity of the organization. Merrick says she has more information to include before choosing a new release date. We've reached out to Phi Theta Kappa and we're waiting on a response. Don, back to you.
Trent, thank you. On April 8, 1995, 36-year-old Kenneth Wayne Hilscher went missing, and 30 years later, he is not forgotten. Hilscher was last seen in Bloomington at his parents' home on Black Bayou Road number 2. His father reported him missing. Later, a blood-stained t-shirt and pair of men's briefs were found 2 miles from Hilscher's home. Authorities believe Hilscher was shot in the chest and back. Hilscher's disappearance remains unsolved and is being investigated as a homicide. If you have any information, contact the Texas Department of Public Safety at 800-346-3243. The number of Texas measles cases rises to 505. That's a jump of 24 since Friday. Of those, 57 patients have been hospitalized. The state reported its second death of an unvaccinated school-aged child on Sunday. The state's latest update shows most of the measles cases reported since January were centered in Gaines County, about 90 minutes southwest of Lubbock. That county amounts for 65% of the state's cases. A daycare facility in Gaines County has 7 cases of measles, including children too young to be fully vaccinated. All right, let's go to Mac Pettis with a first look at the forecast. And if the forecast is the same as we had today, Mac, your winning streak continues.
Thank you very much. I'm on a hot streak because we've got some gorgeous weather. You're going to get spring fever, you know, when you just want to get outdoors and enjoy it. Temperatures will be up into the 80s for the next couple of days, but low humidities always appreciated around here. We'll take a look at your forecast and your 7-day forecast coming up in just a moment. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. A Missouri woman is facing multiple charges after police said she assaulted and abandoned a teenage girl in Texas for whom she was supposed to be caring.
Particularly heinous and just disturbing to read.
That's Lincoln County Prosecuting Attorney Mike Wood's reaction after poring over the alleged abuse committed by Brenda Deutsch of Winfield.
2 things that really stood out was the number of children that had been fostered through that home, and then the allegations that these types of abuse and emotional neglect had been going on for what seems to be perhaps a decade.
However, a recent case sparked a police investigation on November 21st. A school resource officer at a Lincoln County school noticed a student missing. According to charging documents, Deutsch requested to take a girl in her care to her friend's home in Texas. The child was often left alone there in dirty living conditions with exotic animals, which Wood said Deutsch collects. The attorney explaining a monkey was potentially exchanged along the lines of human trafficking.
A witness who had come forward, who had some information regarding the systemic abuse that was going on in the home, had said that they had been asked to bring the child down to Texas and then bring the monkey back in return. Obviously, we have to do more investigation to see if that's actually credible, if it's true.
The girl also told investigators she was severely beaten for years. Wood was shocked they didn't previously have any police reports, requests of criminal investigations, or prosecutions.
As we kind of broke it open, it seems like apparently it was a very well-known residence that cycled through this abuse, which obviously is really disturbing and problematic.
The female victim is now in protective custody in Texas.
The suspect's bond was set at $250,000. Now, given the large number of children she has fostered, the prosecutor said there's a chance there will be more charges. Bipartisan support for the Texas bill clarifying when doctors can perform an abortion shows some early cracks. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website, crossroadstoday.com. Texas home insurance premiums soared 27% over the last 3 years. The average homeowner's insurance premium in Texas is nearly $5,000, the 6th highest in the country. A study from the Consumer Federation of America shows that since 2021, premiums have increased more than $1,000 a year in Texas. One of the biggest reasons is the rise in extreme weather events like hail and tornadoes. The rising costs of construction and building materials are also behind the insurance spike. A vital part of health care in the Crossroads celebrates 20 years of service to the area, and that's not all. With over 5,000 air transports under their wings, Phi Air Medical has led the way with their medical transport service with Citizens Medical Center. Jeremy Thomason with Phi Air Medical credits keeping up with technology while keeping a good relationship with citizens for their success.
Over time, we've evolved the care that's available on the helicopter to the needs of the region and the state.
Included in today's event was the unveiling of a new home base for the Air Medical Team based at Citizens, which includes several bedrooms, kitchen, full bath, and conference room. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. Devastating floods continue to wreak havoc across central and southern states, claiming lives and prompting urgent rescue efforts. Also ahead, time is running out to meet the upcoming federal tax deadline. Find out your options. A Dallas man was injured after a large sinkhole opened on his residential street. Neighbors say they are not surprised since the street has drainage and erosion issues.
It's not the attention neighbors want.
This whole street about to cave in.
But it's the attention many in Pleasant Grove say they need.
It looked like King Kong and stuff through this street over here.
Because this is why Kim Johnson is in the hospital.
My truck started jerking and going on. I said, how many people are hitting me?
He was driving this truck and trailer down Riverway Drive when he realized he'd left something at home. After turning around to drive back, the street caved in.
I tried to brace myself because I hit the windshield over 4 times.
His neighbor, Lola Caldwell,
It was so hard, just boom.
Called police, snapping these photos. Standing near the sinkhole, you can smell the sewer water. And if you listen, you can hear it too.
Our sewer lines are bad. It's happened a couple weeks ago in front of one of my properties.
Terrence Perkins says during heavy rain and anytime the White Rock Lake Dam opens, it floods here. He says the Lake June Dam behind homes is also broken.
The city won't do anything about the drainage from your property going into the lake. So we catch all the debris, all the water, and the erosion issue that is under the street.
The city confirms this wastewater main line failed, with repairs expected to be complete by Thursday. Councilman Jaime Resendez tells us he's working with the city to assess the surrounding infrastructure and determine short and long-term solutions. But Lola says they've heard it all before.
We pay taxes and then nothing gets done until something happens. So no, it's not fair now or never.
I never did have any faith in patchwork, but I didn't think it would be to this degree.
It's a degree that gets residents heated.
So I'm not never going back down that street.
Demanding attention and help.
I thank God that I wasn't in the hole.
In Pleasant Grove, I'm Brittany Moncrief.
Time is running out to file your 2024 federal taxes. The deadline is 11:59 p.m. next Tuesday. You can file for an extension if you cannot meet the deadline. However, there may be fees associated with this option. The IRS offers a payment plan through its website for those who owe more taxes than they can afford to pay up front. The IRS recommends paying as much as possible before doing that. Excuse me. Filing your taxes may take longer if you've experienced a significant life change in 2024, such as getting married or having a child. The threat of severe storms and destructive tornadoes across the South and Midwest is over, but the danger remains as flooding submerges cars, roadways, and even homes. Over a foot of rain fell last week from Wednesday through Sunday across the Mid-South. Some locations, including Memphis, recorded nearly an entire spring's worth of rain in a few days.
That road is completely underwater.
From road closures across Arkansas to homes only visible by rooftops peeking out of floodwaters in Prospect, Kentucky, the deadly danger continues following last week's severe storms. At least 24 people have died across 7 central and southern states, including 10 lives lost in Tennessee.
We're starting to move teams, especially to the west. Even into next week, we're looking at some flooding and significant flooding.
Not welcome news for communities where rivers have reached major flood stage.
The water was up to my thigh, ice cold. And then as I stepped out, I almost fell because the water was dragging me.
People in several counties across the Bluegrass State had to ration their water for several hours on Monday after multiple water utility plants shut down their electrical equipment used to pump water from rivers.
An incredible job by the Frankfurt Plant Board in getting everything back up and running to everybody who is conserving, including my family.
Rivers are still exceeding barriers. Water seeping through as a tractor struggles to hold up a floodgate in Frankfurt. Tuesday, rescues continued in several water-ravaged places, including eastern Mississippi. Officials are urging people to steer clear of any flooded roads.
Please do not drive through either standing or running water. Turn around. Don't drown.
Brian Abel reporting.
At least 60 people died and 160 others were injured in the Dominican Republic capital early Tuesday when the roof collapsed at an iconic nightclub. Politicians, athletes, and others were attending a merengue concert there. One of the people that died in the collapse, former Astros pitcher Octavio Dotel. Crews were searching for potential survivors in the rubble at the one-story Jet Set nightclub in Santo Domingo. Nearly 12 hours after the top of the nightclub collapsed, rescue crews were still pulling out survivors from the debris.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We continue with absolutely gorgeous weather. As a matter of fact, with temperatures like this, comfortable mid-80s, we're going to be doing good all the way through the weekend. We'll have your forecast coming up in a moment. First of all, right now, we're looking at 77 degrees. Our high today got up to right at 77, which is even lower than our average high for this time of year. We'll be talking about your 7-day forecast coming up after this. Well, nothing but sunshine for us. And you know, some people are out there getting a suntan and absorbing all that vitamin C and all that good stuff. But for some people, it's actually too much sun. We have, of course, what we call the heat index, and it is running at about a 9 for the rest of the week, as you see right here, all the way through Saturday. So some of you who are sensitive to this got to know that you've got to be looking at the cream, the SPF 30, and then you've got to look at hats and maybe even some gloves. So intense sunshine because of the low humidity. There's not a cloud in the sky. Look at that. Winds peaked today in the teens, not bad at all, but even at this hour they have weakened and they're very light, almost calm winds completely. We are looking at the big picture here to see what's going on. The big storm that produced all that terrible weather finally moved offshore. High pressures come in, give them a chance to dry up. For the southwest, this high pressure is keeping us on the sunny and warm side. In fact, that's why the winds are coming at us from the north. But by the time we get to tomorrow, the sea breeze will start kicking back in. And we do have a front way out in the Pacific that may have something to do with this, but it's not going to be anything big. We're looking for 82 tomorrow, then 86, then 86. And here's that little front, and you see dry air comes in and we're still on the warm side. So by and large, we're looking at low humidities. Now, this is the humidity right now in the percentage range. So you can see we're 20% for us and 40% down along the water's edge. Well, we take a look at the bigger picture and the entire state is completely dry. So, you know, that miracle rain that we had last week, you know, 4 inches and then even more down south. Well, it was a real blessing. Couldn't have waited any longer. Now we're hoping that we get another something in a week or two before the summer months roll around. We are looking at Future Tracker. Can't see a cloud over Texas tomorrow. That's Wednesday, and then we go on into Thursday, and still things are looking very nice. By the time we get to Friday, we'll have the tail end of that front sort of come through here, but no clouds in sight. We continue with the very pleasant and very dry weather right on through the next 7 days. So let's take a look at what it's going to be like. I think you need to go to Port Lavaca tomorrow. You know why? Look, light winds, abundant sunshine, seagulls going queek, queek, and then only an 80 degree is a high temperature. You couldn't ask for more than that. I'll tell you, in Cuero, you got lots of opportunity to be doing outside field work because you're looking at 84, sunny skies, and relatively light winds. You know, we've been buffeted by 40-mile-an-hour winds last week. This week, it's a whole lot more reasonable. So we'll take a look at your 7-day, and it's very quiet. Looking for breezy conditions for a sea breeze coming back on Wednesday afternoon. And then Thursday, before that little front comes through, that front will shift the winds around maybe for a day, give us a little bit drier air. And then as we get back to Saturday and Sunday, we'll start with sea breeze. But these temperatures are fairly comfortable. And of course, you know, low humidity. I always enjoy that myself. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody. We do have this quick response little doohickey there. You take a picture with your phone and you can put Crossroads Today on your cell phone. That's it from here. We'll toss it back to Don.
Thank you, Mag, for your weather and sound effects. Finally, back from the Final Four, Sports Director Max Williams is here from San Antonio. Max, was your time there a slam dunk?
Oh, it definitely was a slam dunk, Don. I had a great time, a lot of different things that happened, and saw Houston win the Final Four, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done, but still a great season for the Houston Cougars. But getting back to some local content, though, after the break, we're going to highlight all the All-District Awards for the Bay City Lady Cats women's soccer teams. I'll tell you all that coming up in sport. All right, Crossroads. So it's good to be back here in Victoria after spending the past couple days there at the men's Final Four. And again, showcasing you all the fan events and again, both games itself, which again, were both fantastic games there for the Final Four. But getting back here to, like I said, local coverage now. First, we're going to start with soccer, where yesterday Ray revealed the boys soccer All-District Awards. Well, today I'm talking about the girls All-District Awards for Bay City there. Again, starting off there, the District 22 4A MVP went to Lexi Castro, and the offensive MVP went to Caitlin Stye. Goalie of the year went to Serenity Garcia, and Coach of the year went to Darian Dablegod. And then first team All-District went to Peyton Benavidez, Lexi Castro, Addison Cohen, Serenity Garcia, Summer Howard, Mia Perez, Victoria Silva, Caitlin Stye. So again, some names you saw from, again, the one offensive MVP, and some different names. So, and there's also a lot others that I didn't mention. So if you want to check out who got second team honors and also academic All-District check, crossroadstoday.com later on. there this evening. Now there's some Tuesday night softball. The Cuero Lady Gobblers facing the Lavernia Bears there in this matchup. And I just passed this kind of city in Lavernia when I was there from San Antonio. So again, for Lavernia though, they're a tough team to watch out for. They're top of the district with Cuero. Again, Cuero's right now at 6-1 overall. Lavernia 4-1. So the winner will most likely probably take the district there in that one. For Cuero, keep an eye on those power hitters. Audrey Kremling and Juliana Cox are huge there up at the plate. And staying in softball, but in the 3A ranks, the Hallettsville Lady Bremas ranked in the top 25 area according to the entire 3A area. They're facing the Yoakum Bulldogs tonight in Yoakum. The first pitch for this one will be at 7 p.m. And again, for Hallettsville, for the Lady Bremas, they are one game back from Columbus, who is 9-2 in district for Columbus. 8-3 is Hallettsville. So we'll see if they can maybe see if Columbus loses tonight and then get back a game, because we'll have the highlights for maybe both of those games possibly later on 25 News Now at 10. Over to 5A softball. Victoria East face Terry tonight there at the Youth Sports Complex. It's going to start in about 5 minutes time there, again at 6:30. And East is currently now tied with Lamar Consolidated at 7-1 overall. And they're fighting for that top spot in the district. So keep an eye on Makai Amador and Emma Luna. They're going to be huge there for the Titans there later tonight. And again, a lot of softball action, yes, because we had another one. Victoria St. Joseph Lady Flyers having senior night as well, facing Providence Catholic. The Flyers, they're going to be honoring them after the game. They're currently 18-4 overall and undefeated in district play. And again, keep an eye on Shane Meisber up at the circle, who's a 1.24 ERA right now this season. They're up at the plate. And again, Gianna Morris and Jasmine Galmez have been the two top hitters there for the Lady Flyers. Again, two top in the batting average for the Flyers this season. Now, how about some baseball, right? This is the first baseball game I mentioned here for Victoria East facing the Marshall Buffaloes. That's going to be there at Riverside. The game started about 20 minutes ago, so we'll again have some highlights and all that later for you. As again, East currently is tied with West in district at 5-1. And then finally, here today, earlier actually mentioned, the Denver Nuggets made a stunning decision, firing head coach Mike Malone and parting ways with their GM as well, and Calvin Booth. This news is coming a week before the NBA playoffs begin. The Nuggets are currently in the 4th spot in the Western Conference, and Malone has been the head coach for the Nuggets for the 10 seasons. And again, he coached the Nuggets to their first NBA championship back in 2023. So the current interim head coach for the moment for the Nuggets is assistant coach David Edelman. And that's going to do it here for sports. Don, back to you.
Max, thank you, and we're back in a moment. A set of rare diamonds is revealed. The cost of these diamonds, find out after the break. Finally tonight, Auction House Sotheby's unveiled a set of rare diamonds valued at about, are you sitting down? $100 million at an exhibit in Abu Dhabi. Among the jewels on display is the 10-carat Mediterranean blue, considered one of the most important blue diamonds ever discovered. Sotheby's expects it to fetch $20 million at an auction to be held in Geneva in May. Just 8 diamonds are on display at this exhibition, but they have a combined total weight of over 700 carats. And if you have that many carats, you really need a lot of peas and carrots. You know, that is just, ooh.
You know, my question is, where would you go wearing that?
You go to the grocery store,
normal place,
to the
right?
pharmacy,
get your oil changed,
Yeah.
just around town.
Big old rock.
Yeah, right.
Amazing. Well, we've got golden weather for us, folks. We've got just abundant sunshine all the way through the next 7 days. No rain in sight through 7 days, and dry humidity for the tomorrow and Thursday, or relatively low humidity for us. That'll be making it very comfortable. Evenings will be on the cool side. Daytimes sunny and warm.
That's some good weather for baseball and softball action there.
Absolutely. It works out.
We're taking it. All right. Thank you all. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.